What's up, friends? This is Rick Backus. We're here in the Yarra Valley in Australia. We're here at Giant Steps / Innocent Bystander.
Yep.
I'm here with chef, winemaker, cheesemaker, Steve Flamsteed. We're looking at a couple of wine and food pairings. On Pairing Local, it's all about exploring this idea that Mother Nature gives you wine and food in an area. We're looking at a Chardonnay and a Pinot, and we're going to look at two dishes. Now, it's kind of cool that you, Steve, you've got a background as a chef, but also as a winemaker, and you picked out two dishes to go with the Chardonnay and the Pinot. Tell me about this first dish that we have here.
The kingfish is a really lovely fish to have the sashimi style dish with because it's got some texture to it. It's got a degree of oiliness, but at the same time it's very clean and fresh. It works really well with that the miso kind of broth, or with the cold broth, and the sesame oil kind of. That whole combination works particularly well. It's got a little bit of lemon juice and rice vinegar in there as well. Yeah. And that kind of cuts through the oiliness of the fish. The little white specks on top are a version of almost homemade rice bubbles. They're quickly dehydrated and fried at the same time, rice kernels. And they give a crunchy texture to the dish too, so
yeah,
really well. And that whole combination with the Chardonnay is great because the Chardonnay has a minerally edge to it. It's got a lovely citrus character to it as well. And it's got some nuttiness from having been in, older and new French breeds. The leaf stirring gives it nuttiness, and that kind of savoury, nutty, minerally combination works with this dish particularly well. It kind of cuts through the oils.
Yeah, texture is a word that isn't used enough with food and wine, but I think people are starting to understand that concept of these little texture added. Yeah,
that dish particularly is about as much about its texture as it is about its flavour.
Sure.
You sort of cut through the softness of the fish with your teeth, and there's this all, the crispiness of the rice works.
Sure. That was delicious. I just had a bite earlier. Couldn't help myself. Now, for the Pinot Noir, Yarra Valley is also known for Pinot Noir for sure. Yeah. This is a dish. Now, this ingredient, chicken grows really well here. It's more of a localized ingredient. Yeah. Tell me about what we got over here.
The grilled spatchcock is it's free range. It's a baby chicken. And it is char grilled and deliberately heavily char grilled so that it gets that nice caramelized skin on the outside. Contributes a real lot to the flavour of that dish. And then it's with slow cooked red onions that are cooked in a stock with a bit of balsamic vinegar and some lemon, so they get the acidity of the lemon juice makes them a bit brighter in their red colour. Tweaks up that colour a little bit. That's cool. Just with the acidity. Braised red cabbage, which is just lovely with the softness of that with the chicken dish. And a little bit of fresh yogurt on the side. Really good with Pinot. I also like that with the Chardonnay. I think Chardonnay and roast chook for me is one of those classic combinations. And I just think that the nuttiness of the Chardonnay works really well with that chicken, but the Pinot and the kind of red part of that dish, the red onions, red cabbage, combined with the chicken works really well. Yarra Pinot is very much about red berries, cherries, and sort of blackberries rather than being plums. They're much more about perfume than they are about sort of muscle. And it's just a cool wine to have with food for that reason. It's got a good acidity. They're not full bodied. They're light to medium bodied. They're very pretty wines. Yeah. And they just sort of dance around the dish really well.
And that goes to show, when you're talking about chicken, people automatically think Chardonnay, and the Chardonnay stands up to it. But you can serve a red wine with chicken, not a problem. And this Pinot goes beautifully. It's going to be hard to decide which one we want to serve with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just once again, it goes to show that Mother Nature wants us to eat local, drink local. All this came from this area,
yep.
This beautiful part of the world, and thank you. I don't know if I should call you chef or winemaker or just Steve.
Just call me Steve, it's okay.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, cool. Cheers.
Cheers.
Excellent.